Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is, of course, Gamer 1745 here, playing Hearts of Iron 4's Black Ice, taking a look at the new economy and how they're developing things historically. Okay, so we have flag defenses now in the west. Region 1, where is that? Okay, yeah, Westfalen, Wester, Hanover. So up in the north is where that is. I really would love to get some more of the Western ones done, but we'll see about that. Synthetic rubber, okay, has improved oil plant, so we need to research improved oil plant to get that. Oh, well, here's 2 engine factories here. Okay, well, okay, I missed that. Oh, no, we've already done that one. That's right. Oh, boy. Sometimes they use beige as the color for done, and if you come and research, beige means it's undone. Come over here, and this has always confused me. Come over here, beige or whatever means it's already been done. Okay, we could expand Austrian oil, which would be rather nice. Naval expansion. Fate of Czechoslovakia. April, sort of early. Well, I think this would be our biggest sort of change here. It's 50 days. Let's do this. Let's start this. Bulgaria requests German arms. Yeah, we want to organize up and get Bulgaria more friendly to us. Okay, mortars, fine. So we're now in 39. Do we want to do that? Yes, we do. So I think that'll get us some of our better guns for our tanks. Okay, and that. Now let's. Yeah, we will go with better here. And yes, better 110s and better Stukas. We have a okay, we need Volkov. Okay, here. That's what we need to do. Get the Condor up. No, we don't care about them. They can just go whatever they want to do. Yeah, we're back to engine capacity problems, but we should have an engine capacity power plant or capacity plant up very soon. Yes, right now the German army is woefully weak. Now, again, let's look at logistics here. Tricks, light vehicles, but I think we should add another. We'll put them out here in the west. Add a unit. Okay. Okay. Prague, Bohemia, Moravia. Yeah, it'll be part of the Reich. Okay. Will become known as Bohemian rape. This is what historically happened, but I am not satisfied. Game mechanics versus reality. In my opinion, and yes, this is my opinion, and just one guy, playing games and talking on YouTube here, but in my opinion, Czechoslovakia is in a really weird position for the game mechanics of puppet states. And I know there's different levels of, dominions and whatnot. There was a sizable, and I'm not talking about Sudeten land that we've already got, but there's a sizable German-speaking minority within Bohemia and Moravia. When Germany takes it over, if you could babble some German, and I sort of mean it that way, meaning you could speak some not like you're fluent and you convince everybody that you're German, but if you could babble some German and you want to declare yourself German, you got German papers. That's my understanding. And if you were a young man, you very well may be called up and at some point into the because they had conscription going on and whatnot. So you'd be called up into the military, or whatever. If you wanted to claim to be German, you could be German as long as you could sort of babble it. They weren't doing some sort of blood tests or pull out your ancestral records to prove that you're somehow German from the old Austro-Hungarian Empire or Austrian Empire. No, they're just, hey, you want to be German, you're German. Now, that's not getting into the SS or some other wacky Nazi stuff, but just if you wanted to be German, you were German. If you wanted to be Czech or whatever, you're Czech. So there was a sizable minority of people, particularly in and around Prague, that had German ancestry, again from the old empires, or just thought, hey, yeah, I speak some German. It looks like the the winning side, if you will. So let's go with that. And for as far as I can tell, there is a lot of collaboration on the production side of for everything, whether it's food or whether it's machine guns and aircraft and whatnot. And there's a lot of collaboration, including innovation for new tank models, new aircraft models, new artillery models. There's a lot of that going on under the Germans. Now, it's probably not as enthusiastic and as well done as if it would have been for the Czech government, but there's a lot of stuff going on there. And although there are a few strikes kind of thing that do happen, there's a lot of or no, there's a very little, I should say, resistance operations going on. You do have the assassination of Reinhard Heydrich, but that's with some Czechs that were parachuted in from Britain. And they sort of kind of hooked up with the local resistant types, and there was sort of this building of, organized resistance, not action so much like sabotage or anything like that, but just sort of networking and organizing up resistance networks going on. And I don't think the resistance networks that these guys hooked up with knew that their target was to go after Reinhard Heydrich. They might have stopped that because they were sort of, to some degree, get along until the right moment, shall we say. And they didn't want to invite. There was not a huge, like we might see in, places like France or the Netherlands. And then even in the early days, there isn't any real active resistance there. Again, just networking going on. But it's like the situation up in Denmark. Denmark, well, the Germans take a very, very sort of velvet glove approach to Denmark and occupation. And to the point of allowing the Danish army to continue to exist, but just, hey, stay in your barracks and don't do nothing until. And that's the way it continues. The Danes don't do any active resistance until the moment that there's the big national uprising. I forget whether it was late 44 or early 45 or whatever. It was well after the D-Day landings, well after the idea that, the Allies are coming now. Not just that we know the Allies are going to win, but now is the time to uprise because the Germans won't be able to bring in large forces to suppress us because they're, fighting on 2 or 3 fronts, however you want to look at it. They don't have the reserves to come after us. And by uprising, we shut down, military production that's going to Germany, food that's going to Germany. We shut down, we cause them to not be able to, send whole forces out of the Denmark to some other place, so that they do strike when they're sort of ready. And there is some of that going on. But here, in Czechoslovakia or in Bohemia and Moravia, but it really isn't as much. And so the game mechanics of the puppet, the one area, the big area here that I would say within the game mechanics until late war is manpower. And so I'm going to pick this time instead of the historical option. What I would do is that if you pick that, I would just reduce down the recruitable population in some of these, in these provinces, if you know what I mean, and just do that artificially to represent the idea that you don't have, whether it's conscription or volunteers, anywhere near the scale of you do in other German areas. That's how I would handle it, because otherwise it is virtually integrated. And it's sort of like what happens up here. This area here. Yeah, there's lots of Poles. Lots and lots of Poles. Actually, by this stage, a majority of Poles. But they cooperate heavily with the Germans because Germans controlled this area in living memory. It was just 20 years before. So yeah, if you're 20 years old, you didn't have, German overlords, if you will, Germans running the place because, or, even if you're 25 or something, because you probably don't remember being a 5-year-old. So you don't have that in your memory. But everybody else, the 40-year-old, the 50-year-old, yeah, the Germans are just back. Now, they end up being Nazis, which are, particularly cruel and wanting to erase Poland is existence. So it turns bad very quickly, but they're used to German control. And I would argue that, again, outside of the population question, in the former German territories, and particularly, of course, Danzig, but which is vast majority German, not just like a 60-40. It's more like a 80-20, 80% German, or some sort of percentage like that. Vastly, and there's still lots of Germans in places like Poznan and whatnot. I would organize those up into the Reich. Slovakia would be a state with German support. Yeah, we'll go with that, as opposed to, we'll just set up Slovakia as historical. So not everything neatly fits into game mechanics. And it could just be from my sort of history of playing, Hearts of Iron. Oh, we'll form the Infantry Regiment, yes. Before, where Bohemia and Moravia is just fully incorporated into the Reich with little consequences. And it may be that, but yeah. Okay, some people, this is IQB saying here, some people just want to make something that makes a big boom and don't care who the boss is. Oh, certainly. Certainly there is that. I don't know about the workers, but as far as I can tell, I think mostly that the Tatra company is sort of a Sudeten company. I sort of kind of looked into it, and modern Tatra doesn't really want to promote up on their website much about their activities during German occupation. Because they continue automotive development, including some really neat truck automotive development that is probably better than much of other German stuff. Now they're producing their trucks in the hundreds instead of thousands or tens of thousands. So, and it's like, no, we produced, some year, 250 trucks or 300 trucks, or I don't know, some, in the hundreds. And I think part of it is allocation of materials as opposed to production capacity of the factories. I think they're sort of on the short end of the stick, but they're producing some really nice stuff, and they're the ones that I think produce the drivetrains for the Pumas and whatnot later on that are part of the development. I think it was Tatra, but it could have been another Czech company. But so there's a lot of, and there's a lot of other development going on as well. And you're right, they just want to make it, and so that's, compare that. But I'm sort of looking at this as comparing the situation in Poland versus the situation, the puppet states that would be for, Belgium and the Netherlands, or occupied France. This is much more integrated into the German economy. And realize, particularly Bohemia and Moravia, were very much traditionally integrated into the German economy. Now, the Austrian German economy, yes, because this was the main industrial heartland of the Austrian Empire. So, it's not so foreign to them. Again, it ends up being they're controlled by Nazis and not just Germans, in which they want to erase, one way or another, the ethnic minorities. Now, and for the Czechs, it was maybe not such as big as a racial question as it is a cultural question, where the Poles and others, it's more of a racial question, bloodline question. So, like I said, it seems to be that if you were early on willing to declare that you were German, they were just going to go with that. Now, that might not be, like I say, might not be any good for the SS and all their, wacky rules and laws and whatnot. But for the standard German stuff, yeah, it was going to be enough. Okay, we will, because we're talking about this part out here, we'll give that to Hungary. Slovakia won't do much with it. Get the Hungarians out onto the border there with the Soviet Union when the time comes. Okay, so early radar. First do this because this is a single one here. Okay, we needed, what was it? Fuel storage, improved class. Let's go look and see. What was it that we needed? We needed tank radios for the one. Oh, it was one. What was I trying to build? Something again. This is the sort of the complexity, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh boy. Was it a research thing that I needed to? No, let's look at this other slot here. Boy, I forget. Was it one of these? Oh, we need to. I'm not sure. It was one of them that needed. Oh, national focus. Yes, that's what it was. See, again, complexity doesn't always equal a better game, but it can be. Okay, it's here. We need an improved oil plant. Let's just, not that we have to do that either now or in particular, but okay, there's improved oil plant. What does that get to us? Okay, fuel gain from refineries, 25%, which is pretty big. Coal for going into synthetics up to, well, I think we have plenty of coal. Synthetic fuel costs, energy costs go up a little bit. Yeah, we are. Well, we're down. We're actually out of the 80s, so that's good. And refinery construction speed. Yeah, we could do that. Just that. That would be a good thing to do. Now here, did we get? Okay, we've got tank radios. Good. Or truck. We need truck radios. Yeah, let's do that. And insufficient rubber. But I think we're going to need to, because I got some other stuff I've got to go do today. So I think we're going to end this episode. I know it was sort of short, but I hope it was entertaining. I want to thank you all very much. See you next time for more, yes, more Hearts of Iron.